This is a summarization of drug demographic profiles in Canada by the Pirates
Landon Swartz.
Emily Ladd.
and Maddie Creech. We chose to attempt to summarize the data from the survey in visually interesting ways. None of these graphs are meant to be concrete conclusions about the data, but rather spark questions that could lead to further research. On this slide are the first responses we analyzed to get a sense of the data as a whole. In this pie chart on the left, we found the majority of respondents are from Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia. Not surprisingly, these are the most populated provinces in Canada. The least number of respondents are from the Yukon, Nunavut, and the Northwest Territories. The respondents are not students and tend to skew older according to our bar graph.
In this slide, we determine the demographic age versus the time taken to take a survey. We chose to do this to see how many people responded and at what time. As you can see on the graph on the left, there's a large amount of outliers that took an extreme amount of time to finish the survey. So on the graph on the right, we eliminate the outliers to see that a lot of respondents were below 75 and took less than 2,000 seconds to respond, but we were wondering more about which month would take the most respondents, and we wanted to draw conclusions about different seasonal depressions and mental illnesses like SAD disorder. These graphs are by month. As you can see, most respondents replied in the months of September, November, and October, with most replying in the month of October, and most respondents replied more in the end of the months than the beginning of the months. And we found this to be interesting because of the seasonal changes present in the month of October from fall to winter, especially in northern countries such as Canada.
On this slide, we show respondents answering questions about codeine and amphetamine. We did this because codeine and amphetamine are addictive. Codeine has a large yes column because it is a prescribed painkiller. It should be noted that there are many NAs in the dataset. Not necessarily every respondent answered every question. A large majority of respondents answered yes to ever using codeine, and in the amphetamine responses, we see a large majority no. We could draw connections between gateway drugs and harder drugs by comparing graphs like these.
Here, surveyors were asked their history of use for a variety of different drugs, ranging from no use to within a week, to within a year, to within their lifetime. The most obvious correlations are between population of the regions, number of total responses, and the number of positive responses. Regions 12 and 13, the Nunavut and Northwest Territories, have minimal responses. When comparing the collection of drugs, recreational cannabis was the most commonly used, while inhalants were the least commonly used, corresponding with the relative lethality of these drugs. This data is similarly distributed, with the high population areas of Ontario and Quebec having the most positive responses. GHB and crack cocaine have minimal responses, comparable with inhalants on the previous slide. Interestingly, cocaine and hallucinogens saw an increase in lifetime usage, but not a corresponding increase in recent usage. In conclusion, these are the aspects of the study we chose to visualize. Further studies could be implemented to make concrete conclusions about the data. Thank you for listening to our presentation.